stick it out till the end. Now that it's raining more than ever, know that we still have each other.
Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this tutorial, we'll be making these two pieces that you can see. In my last tutorial, we made the pants. In this tutorial, we'll be making the shirts. In case you've not seen the pant tutorial, I'm going to leave the link in the comment section. So I'll be cutting out both the front and the back together. That is why my fabric is folded like this. So the fabric for the front is 3 inches wider than the fabric for the back, because we'll be needing the 3 inches for our button placket. I'll go ahead and start taking my points. The first point is the distance from the shoulder to the bust point, which is 13 inches. Next thing I'll do is to take half of the shoulder measurement that I'm working with, which is 9.5 inches. On the 9.5 inches mark, I'm going to go down by 1 inch, as you can see me doing, and then I'll slant into the neckline area. After doing that, I'm going to go ahead and take half of my round armhole measurement. So half of the round armhole measurement I'm working it with is 11.5 inches. So I'll mark the 11.5 inches and I'll make sure that what I have on the chest line is the 9.5 inches, which is half of my shoulder measurement. After doing that, I'm going to connect the dot on the shoulder slope to meet the 11.5 inches mark on a straight line. After doing that, on this bust line, I'm going to place the bust circumference divided by 4, and I'm going to add 3 inches to that measurement. So 1.5 inches is going to be the stitching allowance, while 1.5 inches is going to serve as the ease allowance. On the length of the shirt, you can take the same measurement you have on the bust line, but if you want it to be really free, you can go ahead and place your hip circumference divided by 4 plus your stitching allowance. After doing that, I went ahead to connect from the chest line to meet the length of the shirt. The next thing I'll do is to take my neckline measurement. So for the neck width for both the front and the back, I'll be using 3 inches, and for the neck depth for the back, I'll be using 1 inch. For the neck depth for the front, I'll be using 3 inches. So I'll go down by 3 inches for the neck depth. I will connect like this from the 3 inches to meet our neck width of 3 inches. So the front is 3 by 3 inches, while the back is 1 by 3 inches. After connecting, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the back neckline first, as you can see me doing, and then I'm going to trim off the shoulder slope like this, and then I'm going to place my tape on this straight line and I'll mark the middle point. On that middle point, I'm just going to create a curve like this. After doing that, I'll continue cutting. So before I forget, the fabric on top is the back pattern, while the one underneath is the front pattern, and I said the front pattern is 3 inches longer than the back pattern, 3 inches wider, sorry. After cutting, this is the back piece. Remember, the back piece should be on fold, and we are left with the front piece. What I'm going to do is to trim off the neckline of the front piece, just like you see me doing. After doing that, I'm going to split the center open. The next thing I'll do is to notch the 3 inches. Okay, I'll notch it like this just so I know where to fold when I want to fold. I'll repeat the same thing on the base also. So these are my two front pieces. What I'm going to do is to fold it like this. So remember, I took 3 inches for my button placket. So what I'm going to do is to mark 1 inch inward, as you can see. I'll mark it. After marking, I'm going to fold 1 inch like this. After folding it, I folded 2 inches, okay, and then I'll fold it over, making it 3 inches. So you can add stay to this part to give it strength and go ahead and iron it. Because of the nature of this fabric, I cannot do that, so I just went ahead to sew on that line straight, and this is what I have after sewing. I'm going to go ahead and bring my back piece and I'm going to open it up, and then I'll place the two front piece on the back piece just like you see me doing. I'll arrange everything in place and I'll go ahead and sew the shoulders together using 1/2 inch. I'm going to do that, and then we are going to cut out the sleeves. So this is the fabric for the sleeves, and the fabric is folded into two. what I'm going to do is to come inward from the folded edge of this fabric by 3 inches. I will indicate the 3 inches, and on this part I'm going to go down by 6 inches, and then I'm going to use my free hand to connect like this. After connecting, I'm going to measure around what I have to know if it's enough for the armhole area. So this is not enough. I'm going to go in and recurve it. So just look at the way I'm doing it. I'm just going to go in like this. After doing that, I'll still measure, and what I have is enough. Next thing I'll do is to measure the sleeve length. So what I have here right now is 24 inches, and the sleeves length I'm working with is 27 inches. So I'll be adding a sleeve curve of 3 inches to these sleeves. So what I'll do is to place my round wrist measurement divided by 2 on the hem-line of these sleeves, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect. So since my fabric is stretchy and this sleeves is not a tight one, that is why I didn't measure the other parts. So what I'll do is to go ahead and trim it off, and then I'm going to place this one on the other fabric, and I'm going to trim it exactly as it is. After doing that, I'm going to notch the center. After cutting out the other sleeves, this is what I have. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open the armhole area of my shirt, and I'm going to sew the sleeves in place. So I'm going to pin the part where I notched to the part that has joining, and then I'm going to sew all the way around. After sewing, I'm also going to close the sides. So I've gone ahead to do that, and this is what I have. Okay, I went ahead to use my stitching allowance of 1.5 inches to also close the side of the shirt. I'm going to open it up for you guys to see. So before sewing from the sleeves, I went up by 3 inches before I started sewing on the sleeves area. So I left the 3 inches open because we are going to join our sleeve curve to the sleeves later. So I sewed from that 3 inches all the way down to the length of my shirt, and I used 1.5 inches, which is the stitching allowance that I left while we were drafting. The next thing I'll do is to cut out the collar. To do that, I'm going to place my tape on the neckline area from the front to the front. Just look at the way I'm placing my tape. I'll measure all the way around the neckline, and what I have is 22.5 inches. So I'm going to cut on this pattern paper just so you guys will understand what I'm doing. So the measurement I'm working with is 22.5 inches. I went ahead to add half an inch to that measurement because I'll be sewing the collar close on both sides. So I went ahead to divide the 23 inches by 2, and then I'll mark it. 23 inches by 2 is 11.5 inches. On that 11.5 inches mark, I'm going to go out by 2 inches. This pattern paper is folded into 2 and one part is on fold. The next thing I'll do is to now divide the 11.5 inches by 2. So 11.5 inches by 2 is 5.5. I'm going to indicate the 5.5. So I've gotten the center of this 11.5 inches. On this end where I marked 11.5 inches, I'm going to go up on that point by half an inch, and then I'll slant back into the middle. So in case you don't understand what I'm saying, just follow what I'm doing. So I slanted like this. The next thing I'll do is to take the length of my collar. So I'll be marking 3.5 inches because I'll be folding half an inch inward before I sew. So look at the way I'm placing my tape on that slanted line, and I'm marking 3.5 inches. So when I get to this part that is not slanty, I'm still going to place the 3.5 inches from the base. Okay, this is because our shoulder is not straight. So I'm just going to mark. This collar that I'm cutting out does not have a collar stand. It's just a straight collar. In case you don't understand, or in case you don't want this type of collar, I have another very detailed collar tutorial that I'm going to be leaving the link in the comment section. So after marking the 3.5 inches, I went ahead to connect, and then from that point I'm going to go out by 2 inches. I'm going to go out by 2 inches, and then I'm going to slant from that 2 inches back to the 11.5 inches. This is because I want to have that pointy edge on my collar, and then I'm going to blend it inward like this. I hope you guys are not confused. So I'm going to place my tape like this and cross check. I still have the 11.5 inches intact, so I'm going to go ahead and cut. I'll just cut out the part that is slanted a little bit, and I'll cut the collar out. So this is what I have after cutting. So I also went ahead to add half an inch to the base of this collar. This is because I'm making this shirt for a big person and I don't want the collar to be too small. Okay, so after opening it up, this is what I have. I went ahead to cut out two pieces because one is going to serve as the lining. At this point, if you are using a cotton fabric, you can go ahead and iron your collar stay to it before you sew. So I'm going to pin like this, right sides facing each other, and I'm going to sew. After sewing, this is what I have. I'm going to go ahead and notch so that everything stays flat. After notching, I'm going to turn it inside out. So guys, this is what I have. Next thing I'm going to do is to fold back the half an inch that I left on the base. I'll fold it back and I'll try to iron this fabric. So this is what I have. Okay, so I folded half an inch inward all the way around. So I'm going to bring back the neck area of the shirt and I'll bring in my collar, and I'm going to go ahead and place them like this. Okay, and I'm going to pin all the way around. So I'm going to open the collar up and I'm going to place the neckline area inside the collar as you can see me doing. Okay, I'll place it inside like this and I'll go ahead and pin. I'll pin all the way around, so you have to take your time to do this so that it will come out really neat. Okay, so go ahead and pin all the way around. So if you cut out your collar correctly, you will not have any excess by the time you are done pinning. So I'm done pinning, guys, and this is what I have. I'm going to go ahead and sew on a straight line. After sewing, guys, this is what I have. This is what it looks like on the right side and this is what it looks like on the back. So the next thing we'll do is to cut out the sleeve cuff. To cut out the sleeve cuff, you are going to measure your wrist all the way around. That is the measurement we'll be using. So this is the fabric I'll be using for the sleeve cuff. I'll go ahead and fold it like this into two. So the length of my sleeve cuff, like I mentioned earlier, is 3 inches, but I added 1 inch to that measurement because I don't want to run short of fabric. So the wideness of this fabric is 10 inches. The round wrist measurement I'm working with is 7.5 inches. I'm going to divide 7.5 inches by 2, and this is what I have. On one end of this sleeve cuff, I'm going to go out by half an inch. As you can see, I'll connect into a straight line. On the other end, I'll go out by half an inch and I'll connect into a straight line, and then I'm going to go ahead and sew on the two straight lines. I have another detailed tutorial on how to cut and sew a perfect sleeve cuff. I'll be leaving the link in the comment section. So I went in by 7.5 inches, which is the round wrist measurement, and because we are going to overlap this sleeve cuff, I added 1.5 inches to that measurement. So 7.5 plus 1.5 inches is 9 inches. So the wideness of this sleeve cuff is 9 inches. So I've gone ahead to sew. Because of the nature of the fabric that I'm working with, I'm not able to do too much with this sleeve cuff. That is why I did not iron anything inside. So like I mentioned earlier, I have a detailed tutorial. I'm going to leave the link in the comment section. For this tutorial, I'm just winging it because of the nature of this fabric. So I've gone ahead to sew the sleeve cuff in place and I went ahead to turn it inside out. What I'm going to do is to fold in half an inch. just like we did for the collar. I'm going to fold in half an inch like this, and I'll try to iron the fabric. If you're using a cotton fabric, make sure you iron last day to the sleeve cuff to give it strength. And then I've gone ahead to iron, and this is what I have. The next thing I'll do is to fix the sleeve cuff in place. First of all, overlock this open part, go ahead and weave it, and then you can iron it flat with your hemming gum. After doing that, go ahead and fix your sleeve cuff just like we did for the collar. Place the sleeves inside the sleeve cuff and then go ahead and sew. If there is any excess fabric on the sleeves, you can just pleat it in the sleeve cuff. So make sure you pin all the way around to hold everything down before you go ahead and sew. So after sewing the sleeve cuff in place, I'm going to go ahead and open my button hole. I'll fix my button and then I'll hem the base of the shirt. And yeah guys, that is all for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Don't forget to like this video, leave your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.